Hello and welcome to week 4 of English 1301. This week we are going over MLA format and citations. All right, we are looking at essay number 2 being due at the end of this week. So, that being said, let's take one more look at the requirements for essay number 2. Instructions are right here. Remember, you are writing an evaluation essay over one of the 3 styles that you could find in the readings this week. It's either tiger mom parenting, helicopter parenting, or raising risk takers, the free range parenting. Remember, it must be about one of those 3 articles because your entire evaluation is just that, the parenting method as it's presented within that article. Therefore, there are no outside sources regarding that parenting method. All of your sources and evidence must come from the one article, whichever one you choose. And you can write about it if you're for that parenting method or against it. So just keep that in mind. Any outside sources, unfortunately, for this essay will not be considered and will be marked accordingly. All right. So also make sure you're using proper MLA formatting, not APA, MLA. It's double spaced, Times New Roman 12 point is the font, and you have 1-inch margins. And this particular essay will require a works cited page. Now, what I have done for you is on all the essays, the articles here, if you take a look at them, I have included the MLA works cited citation for you. All you have to do is highlight the citation and copy paste it into your essay under the works cited page. Since you're only going to be using that one article, whichever one you choose, you will only have one citation on your works cited page. You're not going to be using all 3 articles, so you should not be citing all 3 articles, just the one. All you have to do once you get to works cited on your works cited is format it properly. In other words, you need to make sure you use the hanging indent and that you have the proper uh, formatting after that. Again, we're going to take a quick look at it. I'm going to go ahead and use the one from Amy Chu. All right. One of the other things that I have provided for you up here in the writing resources is an actual template that you can use for MLA formatting. There is a template in Word. I don't recommend using it. And the reason for that is, for whatever reason, it puts too many spaces between different sections. For example, it will put too many spaces between the header and the title. It will put too many spaces between the title and the paragraph and between the paragraphs. While this doesn't seem like that big a deal, it is actually kind of a big deal. And I'm not sure why Microsoft has refused to fix that template, but they did. So I don't recommend using that particular template, but you can use the one that I've provided here. Before we get to the template though, let's take a look at setting it up. There are many different videos here that I've provided for setting up your paper correctly in MLA format. This one has several different videos you can choose from depending on which one you are looking for. And these are all for Word. If you're using something like Google Docs, it's completely different. I don't really deal too much with Google Docs, so I can't say exactly what the formatting is there. I'm sure that you can find information on that online. We have different page formatting videos. This one, most of these are from the University of Louisville Writing Center. They're actually pretty good. They will walk you through it. They may be kind of hard to hear, so you might need to turn up, probably like my video as well. What I do want to talk to you guys specifically about, though, is in-text citations. You will be using in-text citations in your essays here. Every time you cite information from the article that you're using, even you need to actually cite it and put the last name of the article, so of the author, I should say. Let me see if I can set up Word for you real quick and take a look at that. Probably should have had that done already, but wasn't really considering it. All right. So when you have a blank document, such as this, you are you're quoting one of your authors, let's say Amy Chua. And remember, we always use the last name of the author rather than their first name because we are not on a first name basis with that author. Actually, we wouldn't be using it there. Let me think of another one. Sorry. Tiger mom parenting relies on shaming the child. Now, let's say I was using this, it's a paraphrase, and I want to make sure that I have properly cited it. Now, Chu or Chua is the author's last name, and you want to make sure that you use the author's last name. Now, if it were a book, you would want to put the page number, and that would be the entire citation. But we are using an article, and I don't believe these articles have page numbers on them, but if they do, you can put the page number. But because it is an online article with MLA, you don't necessarily have to put the page number. They used to have you put the paragraph number, which you can still do if you really truly want to, and that would be like this or like this, depending on the paragraph. But honestly, for our purposes, because we're only looking at one article, and it is the Amy Chu article, you would want to use this, where you just have the author's name. Now, if you wanted to give accreditation at the beginning of the sentence, it would look more like this. Now, that's because you included the author's name within the sentence somewhere, usually at the beginning. That's called accreditation. This is called accreditation, but really it's a citation. And just keep in mind when you are talking about something that is not your idea, something that came from the article, whether you're paraphrasing it, but especially if you're citing it, you need to make sure you quote it. So, for example, if you were citing it, and I'm not sure this is actually in the article, I'm just using it as an example. That's one way to cite a direct quote. And that would be the second way. Again, this up here would be paraphrasing it. I mean, obviously, you would want to use different words. This is a very simple paraphrase. And then down here is where you're directly quoting it. These are just an example, but that is how we use an in-text citation. In other words, the complete name is parenthetical in-text citation. If you see any markings on your paper that says something citation needed, this is what I'm talking about here. All right, so that's in-text citations. And then we go to the works cited page. And again, there's another good video about it. I actually suggest watching the whole thing. It's only
Hello,
five
my name is
minutes
Bo
long.
with the University Writing.
Not right now, though. However, the important part here is that you're using a hanging indent. So for this, we're going to go to the MLA template that I've provided you. It's a Word doc. If you take a look here, this is what it looks like. And then you can download it where it'll open it up just like this in Word. And all you do is change the information. So for example, you're going to put your name. We'll just use mine for now. Actually, we'll use my daughter because maybe. Then there's my name, and then it would be whatever the class number is. For this case, it's this, the date. I actually prefer the day, month, year, but it's really up to you. Oh, I'm sorry, month, date, year. There it is. Month, date, year. I had it right. So then you have your title. You click up in here to your last name. For this, that's all you really have to change. Close your footer, title. Remember, make sure it's a title that's something other than essay number 2. It really does need to have a title that has something to do with what you're writing about. Oh my gosh. There. Then you would start your paper here. Now let's assume that we've gotten all the way down to the works cited page and we're ready to work on this. So you're going to hit enter once. You're going to come over here and make sure that you are left aligned. And you've already hit copy paste for the actual information. All you have to do is paste it in. But what you do need to make sure is that this secondary line is indented 5 spaces. Because that's what that means. Now, if you just do that, that's what's going to happen. So you undo that. You'll have to come up here, hit enter, hit tab, and there you go. It's actually done. Notice that the top line hangs over the second line by about 5 spaces. And then when you start your next entry for the next citation, you would start here if you had other citations, which you won't for this particular paper, but you will for papers in the future. So remember, this is what a proper works cited for this paper looks like. It's going to be very short, but it is on its own page, just like this. If you somehow have this works cited at the end of your paper, that's not okay. It has to be on its own page. So there you go. Be sure to rewatch this particular part of the video over again if you need to, but this template is provided for you right here on the writing resources under the MLA information. Other than that, that's all we really have for you this week. If you have questions about the actual assignment for the essay, please email me. Remember, it's an evaluation essay. I did return your working thesis with comments to you, so be sure to go and look at that. Other than that, that's all I have. Have a great week. Good luck. Stay warm, and I will talk to you again later.